live streaming.
It's a go?
It's on. Yep, we're ready.
Okay. Let me turn this down. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for tonight's session on SuperCook. I love the app, and I think I've shared it a ton of times to other people because many of us could use that kind of support using technology to help us stay on budget and creating meals when, the pantry's getting low. So my name is Deb Peterman. I'm with the Center for Disability Empowerment, and I am a community connector and transition coordinator. And we are working with an Ohio grant for the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities called Ohio Family Network. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about CDE. The Center for Disability Empowerment is a independent living center Center for Independent Living. And we're one of 12 in Ohio, but we all work separately, and we are federally mandated to offer, core services. So one is, information referral. We have a youth transition coordinator who you'll meet tonight. We have a person who helps us with health-related questions and advocacy. We have an employment specialist and housing folks. So we do a lot. We cover Franklin, Licking, Union, and Delaware County. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Maddie Randolph. And Maddie, I would love for you to tell them what you do as the Youth Transition Coordinator.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Maddie Randolph. I'm the Youth Transition Coordinator for the Center for Disability Empowerment. So I help out with our youth-related inquiries, and I also run our Empower Youth program. It's a group that meets once a month for students and, teens aged 14 to 24. We meet for about an hour and a half. We learn about independent living skills, self-advocacy, and really just give kids a place to bond and connect with others.
And so how did you find out about SuperCook?
SuperCook. I went to a conference when I was a special education teacher, and there was a coffee bar, and this woman was staying in a suite that had a kitchen in it, and she was talking about what she was going to have for dinner, and she was just, tired of it. And another woman spoke up and said, there's a website for that. There's an app for that. And she started showing all these people that you can click and add and find hundreds of recipes that you can make really easy at home with what you already have.
Yeah, I think of how many times I've gone shopping, having something in mind that I wanted to make, and I'm thinking, do I have it at home? Probably not. So I ended up purchasing it, only to open my pantry and see 2 other bottles of that thing. So to me, it's kind of money wasted when money is tight. And so
Absolutely.
I'm thrilled to have you presenting tonight. So I'm going to have it. You go ahead and show us how it works, and if you want to write questions in the chat, feel free to do so. And go for it, Maddie.
Perfect. Let me just share my screen for everyone. All right, Deb, is it showing?
Yes, it is.
Perfect. So we're going to be talking about SuperCook. This is, like I said, a really easy way to meal plan on a budget, to make what you can with what you have without running to the grocery store, without worrying about what you can and can't do. So SuperCook, it's free. It's available in over 20 languages. It's super easy to use, and it's customizable. You can really dig in to these recipes and find the easiest one for you. It's super simple. You're going to add items to your pantry. You're going to choose a recipe it gives you, and you can make dinner. So like I said, this is what you have in your house, in your pantry, in your refrigerator, what you already own. And all you have to do is you open up your website. It's also available as an app, and it will show you on the left here all of these pantry items. And you can just choose what you already have. So you have butter and eggs and milk. And then, maybe you want to add that you have chicken, but you don't see it. You can type that in and choose that you have chicken breasts. Just continue adding all of the things that you can make with that. And you can see it's already auto-populating on the side for you. I can make 983 recipes with this. You can also really dig in, say you want to make sure that you've already added something. All you have to do is hit these three little dots right here, and it'll show you your pantry. You can get rid of an item, or you can hit this magnifying glass, and it will highlight that. You want to make a recipe that needs butter. It's that easy.
Okay, so can you do it for slow folks like
Absolutely.
myself?
I would
So,
love to do it again.
okay, so if you could enlarge the screen of the actual app itself, that would be helpful. And so,
Absolutely.
so how do you clear what you've written, what you've already typed in on the left?
So you can either click off of them and
Mhm,
just deselect, and it'll auto-populate then. Or if you want to clear your entire pantry, say you're starting over from scratch one week,
mhm.
and you can just remove the ingredients. You hit OK, and it's gone.
Okay, so let's do something, okay? So I'm going to have
Absolutely.
you click on, I have sugar, flour, milk,
Sugar, flour, milk.
and I have uh, onion. Let's go to vegetables, or the
There we are.
onion,
Onion.
and I have celery, and let's see, go down past mushrooms. The fruits I have in the house are apple, um, raisins, okay, and then go past the berries, and nuts. We have peanuts, let's say. Cheeses, I have cheddar and mozzarella. Go ahead down. And I have milk, which we have already, butter and yogurt. So what would be the next thing? What's the next step? Oh, it already did it.
Yep, it does it for you.
So all of those are the items that I talked about. I can make 1,348 recipes.
Absolutely.
Bam.
Easy.
Really easy. Okay. So I'll let you continue what you're going to show us.
Absolutely. Really, we're just going to run through some of the ways that you can customize these because that's a lot of recipes and you really want to narrow down what you're making. So, like I said, recipes at your fingertips, it'll tell you 1,348 recipes possible. There's ways to narrow this down. So, I'm going to look through this on the app actually, as we should. And what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and right underneath this search bar, it's going to say key ingredients. You can click that and choose that you want to highlight, like I said, maybe cheddar cheese. You're really excited about having some cheese in your dinner. And that'll give you the recipes that highlight cheese, that have cheese in them. You can also clear that. You can choose multiple at a time. You really want to use up your milk. It's going to be going bad in the fridge, and your onion is starting to look a little fun. You can narrow it down to just that cream of salt, onion crisps, mac and cheese, things like this. Once you clear that again, like I said, the options are endless here.
Mhm.
Yeah, we can exclude things. Say you know that you're having someone over for dinner, but they don't like apples. So you want to make sure that there's nothing in here that has apples. It's going to narrow down those recipes and completely remove apples from the mix.
So would that be like excluding gluten? Uh,
That actually has its own category.
okay.
They're super good about that. So you can also choose meal type. if you want to make an appetizer versus a dessert, if you want to highlight a dinner or just a side dish to bring to a potluck. Very easy, and it'll narrow it down. Apple butter, fancy. You can also look at video only. This will give you recipes that just have videos to follow along with. This can be a lot easier if you don't want to read the recipe, if you're working with someone who cannot read the recipe, all sorts of situations, right? You can also decide you want to try something fun. You can choose Asian style dishes, French style dishes, Greek, and the options here, there's about 20 of them. So you can try all kinds of new things.
Hi, my name's Star Dobush, and I was just wondering if I could ask a question about the videos.
Absolutely.
Um, Audio description for people with low vision, is that a consideration?
So the actual website acts as a database. Most of them do have the option for closed captioning and for audio captioning as well. Um, but you will find one or two here and there that don't support different services.
Okay, thanks for that information.
Absolutely. So we can try, and here's what you were talking about, Deb. You can take into consideration different diets. You can choose vegan recipes, vegetarian, lactose-free, gluten-free, and you can combine them. You can say you want both lactose and gluten-free, which is going to be a little difficult with all the milk that you chose, but it can be done. We can do max ingredients. You want a really easy dinner. You want to use 3 ingredients or less, 5 ingredients or less, all the way up to you want a really fancy meal with over 20 ingredients. You can really customize that based on what's going to be easiest for you when you're in the meal planning. You can also sort by rating. This will tell you if you want a really good dish, those 5-star dishes, they're peer reviewed by the people that use these. So you can choose if a recipe was really amazing. You can choose if you're okay with just kind of an okay kind of side. And then there's also recipe time. This is a huge one that I use because sometimes I don't want to make a long dinner. I want something that is going to be ready in 15 minutes. I might forget that I'm supposed to bring a dessert to a potluck and I only have an hour to make it. So you can really narrow these down into different fields and combine them to find that perfect recipe.
So when we look at missing one ingredient, what does that mean?
This is actually my favorite part of the app. You can choose missing one ingredient, and I use this to make a grocery list. I put in all the things that I already have. I choose missing one ingredient, and it'll tell me all of the things that I can make, but I need one more thing. It'll show you right here in bright red that you're missing macaroni. You have everything to make macaroni and cheese, but you forgot to get the actual pasta. You write that down, and it's a super easy way to budget for your groceries for the week. You're not going into the grocery store, well, I might need this, and I might grab this, and I don't know if this is at home. You have a budget, you meal plan, and now it's at your fingertips. A really easy way to make that list.
Hi, this is Star. I want to interrupt again. Wondering when you say grocery list, if it has the capabilities to connect with like Instacart or Grubhub to add to that shopping list, or if it
I would
imports.
I think that would be a really amazing feature. It does not have it at this time, but I think that would be really great to be able to connect with different things, even just your notes app on your phone to
Right.
really connect things. But no, not at this time.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so why don't we let Star try this? Let's clear out the thing on the left. And Star, we're going to ask for your participation if you're good with that.
I suppose. I'm folding laundry.
That's all
Multitasking.
right.
Oh, okay. We're going to make you work. So let's go ahead
All
down the
right.
list on the left. I think you might have missed the beginning of this. So give us some things for her to tick off, and let's see how
Mhm.
many recipes come out of it.
Okay. let's go with nothing with vinegar. So I don't want ketchup, don't want soy. He's not a huge soy
Perfect.
sauce.
So we
Yeah. We have eggs, we have butter, we have garlic, we have milk. Vegetables, let's go down to that.
It
How
doesn't,
about zucchini? Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, is there a way to select? So does it save your favorites or like, oh, I
So
apologies for being late. I wondered if it has like you can say I bought 16 bananas this week, and then it kind of counts down like what's remaining in your pantry.
hmm.
it doesn't have quantity, but you are able to clear out and add at ease. You can
Mm.
either click from this list or you can remember that you have something and you're not finding it. So finding ground beef and you're able
Okay.
to add from there.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Nice.
Let's
Um,
pick out 6 more ingredients. Get,
okay.
Yep.
Go ahead down maybe to the next section. Oh, mushrooms. I'll be a fun guy. Portobello mushrooms. Sure. We got those. Um,
you said you had bananas.
yep, we got bananas.
You
And we
have
have
been
kiwi, lots of kiwi, and then carrots. I
carrots.
work at O'Cali, and one of my coworkers is sending me a recipe for carrots because I have 4 bags of carrots. So,
That's
so
perfect. So I just need regular carrots.
nice.
Sliced carrots. Perfect. Just regular carrots, but carrots.
Let's do a couple
Yeah.
more.
Oh,
Mm.
let's come down here. That's a lot of berries and nuts.
Oh, we got all of them. I have pounds of them. I keep them in the freezer now.
We
Yeah, we
also
got
have,
cashews. Yep,
oh,
walnuts,
we got
pecans.
walnuts
Yeah,
and pecans. Those are good. We also
Let's
yeah,
have
pick
cheeses.
cheese.
yeah. I got. We have cheddar, sharp cheddar, um, and fresh mozzarella. Yep.
Ooh, the fresh mozzarella. Very good.
Cool, cool.
Yep. And
Let's just pick one meat.
one
One
meat.
meat.
And it's a
Let's
big one.
go. Let's do a pork chop.
We love pork chops. If you like.
Okay.
I don't think our liver looks so good. Or gut. It's really not good for my gut, but
So Star, what do you
yeah.
see on the right? What does it say? You can make,
Oh, 1,000. Wow. That's
yeah.
crazy. Awesome. Okay. I'll tell you that we just finished up Pie Day. We have enough frittatas and quiches to go around, so we're gonna
Valid.
pass that. Um,
Absolutely. A lot of eggs. You
yeah.
mentioned that you have a ton of carrots.
Yeah.
So we can put in those carrots here as a key ingredient because I have
Oh,
a feeling you want to get rid
okay.
of them.
I do.
So we have cheesy carrot casserole, which is fun. But
Chicken
this is
noodle soup.
what we were talking about with the grocery list, where it'll tell you you're missing sugar. A lot of people have sugar in the house, but you didn't think to add it to the list.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So then that's the other question. I'm just thinking like your mom says you're running out on this, but you can substitute XYZ. Does that have it in here?
So they have substitute ingredients that you can add, but they don't necessarily have, instead of adding this, you can add applesauce sort of
Ah,
situation,
So no
all right.
substitution.
I
which
mean,
could
but your
be a fun
AI and your
option.
Google will do,
Yeah,
so
Google is pretty good at the substitutes.
yeah.
All right. Any
That's cool.
questions on that part, Star?
No, I like that search option. That's really cool. Um, and maybe you said this, I was late. I was just wondering if this app, like what we're highlighting today, is also on it's called Bridging Apps, and it's like thousands of apps. It's a database where you can search apps. I wondered if this was here because that would be
I'm
very
not
valuable.
sure, but I think that sounds great. I didn't know about that at all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the parents that are in Texas, and it's called Bridging Apps. And so you can search by like post-secondary goals, you can search by grade or like I'm working on writing skills, and then it'll pull up thousands of apps if they're Android, Apple, accessibility. But like this would be under post-secondary for sure and food prep.
Absolutely. Well, now I have to check out bridging apps.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Now
Yeah.
I have homework.
Sorry, don't mean share the knowledge of the
Please.
world. Yeah.
Okay, so my next question, if we're going back, I hope you don't mind the flexibility here,
Yeah.
Maddie. So,
Absolutely.
so if we cleared off everything on the left, all the, what we just
Mhm.
put in there. Um,
Hmm.
so let's say, we'll start this week and we're going to fill in everything we know that we have. So let's say you get paid weekly.
Mhm.
Could someone pull up, wait, would you save what you have and then go through it again and take out what you need more of, or
You
that makes sense?
can. So if you add in that you have eggs, sugar, onion, I don't think it's actually okay. Apparently you can make something with that. Um, but then you realize that you don't have eggs, you can actually just remove it. So if you run out of something midweek, you can completely take that out. You can also do that under this little menu that will just show you what you already have in your pantry, um, by just clicking it.
I
I
mean,
cannot believe
that saves a lot of time than having to go through a checklist as we go
Yes,
every 2 weeks, let's
absolutely.
say.
Once you click all of your things, like I said, this little bullet list right here will just give you in your categories exactly what you have. And say you always keep eggs in the house, as you're going through and doing that inventory, even just seeing it on the list tends to remind me that I'm out of eggs.
Okay.
Perfect. And then once you do get through here and you add all of the things that you have, I need at least a cheese and a thing to do this. Let's see, cheddar and ground beef. Perfect. All you have to do is click on it. And like I said, it'll bring it right up, give you your ingredients list, and then it'll also link you directly to that website. Like I said, this acts as a massive database of recipes from all over the internet. Um, and it'll just take you directly to them. A lot of them, as I mentioned, have videos that go with them, and those are able to be watched directly in the app. It's a lot of eggs. If you choose eggs, it just gives you a lot of egg recipes.
This is Star, and I was wondering with the video apps or just the recipes in general, it doesn't have to be the video. Does it sync at all with like your Alexa? Like some, I'm forgetting other apps that have cooking, but it'll say, next step or step one, and it'll
Mm.
rotate and it'll display like on like Echo shows or other visuals. You see what I'm saying? Like
I
it'll read it out.
I do. I know exactly what you mean. I don't actually own one, but I do wonder if it would do that. That would be a very fancy feature, but I do think it
Like
could be
as you're working
plausible,
through the
especially from the
recipe.
websites themselves. I think a lot of them are built for that. Um,
Okay.
but I've never tried. I definitely would like to see it in action though.
Okay.
I would think, I'm thinking of people who have executive function
Right.
stuff, and that's what you're thinking, right, Star?
Oh, there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, even if we created, uh, this is how you use the app in steps, I mean, that would be, you know, a nice thing to add.
Yes.
If then this, even if just the basic thing, the people that are going to be using this, need to have internet and they need to have like a smartphone because the app
Hmm.
is also on the phone,
Right.
available on the phone. Um, so let's move forward. Did you have some more slides to cover, Maddie?
I might have. I might have explained them
Okay.
verbally, so we'll find out. Yes. So that was narrowing it down, just talking about, and this is, you know, examples of the different ways that you can customize this. The meal type, missing one ingredient, these sorts of things. And like I said, if you combine these, as I did right in here, you can combine all of those things together,
Hmm.
choosing main dish, you want to highlight chicken breast, you're missing one ingredient, things like this, and it'll tell you exactly 12 recipes, which for me feels slightly more feasible than like 1,028 and really digging through them. So you can almost be a little picky about what you want
Mm-hmm.
to eat,
Mm-hmm.
which can be really useful when you're dealing with those executive function issues. I do not want to scroll through a list of 1,000 things, but deciding I need to make chicken tonight and I want it to be the main dish can be worlds of difference.
This is Star, and I guess I wondered, it seems like you've been using the app and it has a time feature. If it's really legit on like 5 minutes to chop, like takes longer. Like, let's just be honest here.
They are fairly accurate. I have found though that recipes in general and me and simmering don't get along. So a lot of those things that you notice in your regular cooking
Yeah.
definitely still going to apply. I don't know how simmering doesn't work for every person the same, but we're all on different levels. They might say 10 and it might take 12, but they are fairly accurate, yes.
Okay, cool, cool. Thanks.
Absolutely. That, as I said, is one of my biggest features is that recipe time. I have an almost 1-year-old son. I work full time. I have
I got a
time.
3-year-old right there with you.
So deciding what's for dinner for 3 people, I need it to happen in 30 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And so when I put in what I had in my pantry, I found that perfect recipe. We made barbecue chicken and we put it on Hawaiian rolls and it was fabulous.
Sounds good.
That's smart.
And then I just really drew up some sample meal plans here. I use this so that I don't have to think every night what's for dinner, you know? That's a lot of pressure. Um, and it's that executive dysfunction issue again. If I have to ask that question every night, I'm not gonna want to do it.
Hmm.
So planning out ahead of time what you already have, what you can make, you know Wednesday morning that you're making stuffed cheeseburgers, which sound really good. And
Yeah.
this is where I talk about that helping you shop a little bit. Choosing the ingredients that you want to highlight, but you don't have, choosing that one ingredient can really help you. And then you decide 5 different meals that you want to have for the week. And now your grocery list consists of button mushrooms, fettuccine, angel hair pasta, corn, and provolone, which saves me about 17 aisles that I just don't need to go down.
Yeah.
So, is there any questions? I would love to demo if that's helpful. I would love to answer any extra questions, demonstrations, obviously, all of the things.
Yeah, could you go through the top row one more time?
Absolutely.
Like start with key ingredients, what that.
Yes, absolutely. So you can choose key ingredients, and that's going to give you a list of what's in your pantry. And you know that you want to use 1 or 2 things, ground beef and cheddar. And as you see in the background, it's really updating as you're going.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exclusions are very useful for allergies, for picky eaters, for a lot of things. You know, someone just has that different interest. Like I said, maybe not being able to use butter. Meal type really breaks it down into those different categories. Whether you are making lunch, you want it to be a baked good. They have an option for slow cooker, which I love. I love my slow cooker. It's fantastic. Um, Oven
So
free.
wait, sorry to interrupt. So it has this special recipe for rice in a slow cooker because I still haven't figured that out.
Absolutely. If you choose just rice and click on the slow cooker option, it will help you. Absolutely.
Phenomenal.
And I love when I was teaching high school, I've talked about this a couple different times. That oven free option is right here. And it is phenomenal when you're working with young kids that are just starting to cook and you really don't want them using the oven yet. Um, it can just be helpful. It's also helpful in low income situations, I've found, if students don't have access to an oven where they are staying. That was very common. And so it's really nice to be able to narrow it down into those different categories.
Does it have microwave?
Let's see. It has quick and easy, but not quite microwave, which could be helpful. I wonder
Mm.
Type it in, yeah.
if you can type it in. Probably
Or I'm
not
just
the
thinking
ingredients
like
I
you
have,
had to
but
relocate and you're in a hotel and all you have is a fridge and a microwave, but not a range.
absolutely. Oh, if you search microwave oven, it does give you
Hmm.
many recipes and just tells you what you're missing. So that can
Oh,
be, I did not know you could make peanut brittle in the microwave, but
Uh-oh.
here we are.
that's not a good thing to know.
It can be incredibly customizable, as I said. So many different ways to really use all of these different things. That missing one ingredient, I've especially used when my mom lets me know that she's bringing me something, but I don't have it quite yet. But so many different ways. And the biggest piece for this is really that grocery list that you can make. Video only. Yes, Deb, I see you.
I was going to say, uh, you're ready to it, how do we print off that shopping list?
Print off.
It's
We're just
growing.
writing. Sorry, I meant to mention that. We're just writing, I promise.
Mhm.
Or the notes app in your phone is a huge tool because I know that I will leave home without grabbing the notepad off my desk, but I will not leave home without my phone. I have to pay. So,
Okay, so what you're saying is a person can't write down what they need to buy from
yes,
this.
you have to just write down what you're
You
buying.
have to handwrite what it
Yep.
is.
Or type, whichever one's more accessible for you.
Okay, so I have a suggestion,
Absolutely.
and I can put it in the chat. I've made an Excel where one tab lists the meals I like to cook. And
Ooh,
so I have the name of the meal, and then the next column states what's needed for that meal, right?
Is
yeah.
it set up by one ingredient per column or all ingredients in one column?
I have them all in one column.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
so so once I say, okay, I want to have pepper steak, and I know I need peppers, meat, gravy, you know what I mean? Rice.
Hmm.
Then the next tab is my entire grocery list as I see it going through Kroger.
Ah, that's
So
brilliant.
so I add, you could check it off, and don't tell me I'm a bad eater because we know that already. But I can add that into the chat, and so you have the meal ideas, and then you have the grocery list by
Yes,
aisle. Uh,
that's
it may be
huge.
accurate, it may not be, and then uh, I check off there what I need. And I actually just open it up when I'm in the grocery store, or I can print it out. So I'll put those in
Great.
now as,
I would love
Maddie takes
that.
control of this. And, what are your thoughts about something like that? To me, what's for dinner is my almost hated thing every night, right? We
Yes,
all hate that question. But if we have a list of meals and then create that grocery list off of that, we're going to stay in budget. We're not going to have to think about what's for dinner because we've already created that menu for those 2 weeks. So I'm going to plop those in right now.
I love that. I definitely could use that. I love that a lot. And it's the simple things like that that really can help. Especially when you're looking at, that you want these things, but already knowing what you're gonna need for those recipes. I am known for not being able to keep track of recipe cards, so that's huge. Being able to just have a list that is digital and I cannot lose. Sounds amazing. I'll have to take that, Deb.
Yeah, hope I can do it.
And then, like I said, there's video only, allowing you to see those different videos, watch it be made, see the different ingredients. That step-by-step process can be incredibly helpful, especially with our younger high school kids who are just starting to cook. Cuisines, I love playing around with just to get those different ideas. Italian food versus Greek food versus Brazilian, and trying different things to really get different taste. I've used it a lot, like I said, with my almost 1-year-old. I just want to see how many different things we can get him to eat. And trying out tons of different recipes is the easiest way to do that. Diet can be incredibly helpful as well. Making sure that your recipes are vegan, making sure that your recipes are vegetarian, are lactose, gluten-free, or any combination thereof. When you're planning to take something to a work potluck, someone has dietary restrictions, if someone in your family does, if someone's coming to visit, it can be used so many different ways. Max ingredients, huge one as well. Narrowing down how little or how many things you want to cook with. Sometimes you want a really elaborate dinner. And sometimes you want to get food on a plate for people to eat. And those are two very different things. And that will directly tie into that recipe time as well. 5 minutes, 15 minutes, all the way upwards. If I have some time, I really want to spend on a nice dinner, all the way up to, I believe it'll take you ready in more than 4 hours, which is where a lot of those slow cooker recipes fall.
Mhm.
So don't worry that I want you to be in the kitchen for 4 hours, but really letting that roast cook takes a very long time. And then that rating. Not every recipe on here will have ratings. A mass majority of them do, but deciding that you want to impress someone with a really fancy recipe. 5-star rating. I'm cooking 5-star for my child.
I wanted to say that I did put the meal list in the chat.
Fabulous. I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, and the other thing about creating that list of your meals and stuff is when I go Kroger online, I just work off what I need, and that way I'm not going actually in the store to purchase things because I have a tend to when I see food,
Yep.
I see food, snacks, everything I'm not supposed to have. So it helps us to stay on a budget as well.
It does. That can be helpful. Yeah, especially with young kids, the impulse buying. They see Oreos, now the Oreos are in the cart. It's a whole thing. Absolutely.
Claire here. I actually have a question.
Yes.
The phantom fourth person of the group here. Uh, um, this may be a little niche, but is there at all any option of like if you're wanting to get like make a recipe that is on the softer side, not so crunchy, not so hard to eat, but like something uh you just had dental surgery or you have um issues with certain types of uh textures when you eat or whatever.
So I don't believe there's an actual option for it, but I did type in soft baked because I thought it was going to bring up soft baked cookies. But it gave me everything else.
Okay.
So it gives me a lot of options, but also a soft serve sounds delicious. I think thinking about those ideas and using those words, especially, or if you
Okay.
wanted something a little crunchier, crunchy
So
top.
it goes off of
Crunchy
keywords
bake.
as well.
Yep, it will
Okay.
also search off of keywords,
Okay.
ingredients.
I wonder if
Wonderful.
you use the
Yep.
word puree or steamed, if
Oh,
that
puree.
texture might be
Ooh, that's a good
helpful.
point. Awesome.
Steamed
Uh,
fish, steamed pork. Wow, all kinds of things. I didn't spell puree right, but yes.
Ooh.
puree.
Let me see. And yes, it'll give you those options. It's not liking it because I didn't spell the word right. But yes, and then you can even for that baby-led weaning for those ideas on
Hmm.
things to try with your young babies, it gives you that option for purees that you can make there as well.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Okay, what didn't we cover?
Um, I have not actually, and I know that I should, made an account with them. It is free. I do know that if you make an account, you can save those favorite recipes directly to your profile and come back to them so that you don't have 17 apps or tabs open. You don't have to come back on Friday and find that specific chicken you wanted to make. So that can be really helpful.
So that's if you make an account.
Yep.
Okay.
I tend to have many tabs open, but it is helpful.
But when you make that account, do you get a lot of emails?
I, like I said, have not made that account. I don't seem to think so. I've never actually seen them advertised at all, which is surprising for this huge
Mhm.
app. And then what if you do use the app? I believe you had the app, right, Deb?
I think
You
so.
did
Yes.
it have you make an account when you logged in? Or did
Give
it
it.
just open up the app as is?
I'll tell you in a second.
I was
So I downloaded the app onto my phone,
absolutely
and right away it comes up with the picture that we see right now on your screen.
perfect.
Yeah, and so I don't recall giving any email or anything like that.
So
Do that.
you don't even need an account to use it. I've always been a desktop fan of it just because I think big things happen on big screens. But the app is very useful. I've seen a lot of my students, especially in transition, have the app on their phone. That was really helpful for them. So it is, and virtually the same thing. The layout will look a little different, but it is that click your ingredients, find your recipe, make your dinner. Easy 1, 2, 3.
So what does everybody think about this? Claire or
Hi, this is Star.
sorry.
Um, no, you're all good. I would say that it is user friendly and nice. It's a beginning phase for meal prep. So yeah, I'm eager to share it with other people.
Yeah.
So I work at Ocali and I'm updating some modules, and right now I'm making a module for mobile technology and
Huh?
apps as part of that. But yeah, that bridging apps is a great resource, and I feel like this app should be sitting there. And so there's a way for you to just say suggest apps, and then parent advocates also like respond that like, yes, this is a good app, but it's definitely vetted. I was wondering if there was any user differences from the app to the desktop, because I know some have more features with the app versus a desktop.
Well, as I'm looking at the app on my phone, um, all I have listed at the top is key. Well, the whole row on the right side, key ingredients,
Mm.
exclude, meal type, is all listed there. We just have to, it's a smaller screen, so you have to kind of, move the row.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, key ingredients, what do you have? Meal type. So I've not used the phone app a whole lot because I like the bigger screen as well. I like to see what I'm doing
Yeah.
and, um, the process of seeing what I messed up and what I'm learning. So I think that the screen is,
Yeah.
uh, desktop
Or the
screen is a lot easier.
Awesome. And then with that executive order, you were saying that the minutes and the times for the steps are clear, but I also like, so I use a food program called Tovala, Tovala. And Tovala is a smart oven. Like seriously, think about the Jensens, and it's a QR code with a um, card, and your food is delivered as often as you want. And doesn't have as much like dietary, like it does like vegetarian, but it doesn't do vegan very well, or like some of those other diet needs. And so what's interesting is you get the QR code and you get tinfoil containers. And so they're the perfect portion size, but they're literally, the prep is like take the lid off the pasta,
Yeah.
and then like cut out, they'll give you small baby bell peppers, cut and take seeds out, place on tinfoil. So it's literally like breaking down. And so I wonder if these receipts are like rinse portobello mushrooms, slice mushrooms. Like, is it that simple, or is it just assuming you've already prepped your vegetables? Like, where does it start with the directions?
Mm, mm.
Yeah, so these are, like I said, a database. A lot of these
Yeah.
are going to look like those standard recipes online that you would just find Googling. It just really narrows down by those ingredients and the other things
Okay.
that you choose. But it is going to look very standard to a
Okay.
recipe that you would find online.
Can you
Cool.
open up one of these recipes so we can see
Yeah,
what the process is?
absolutely. All right. It wants, yeah, fun things. Let's see what happens. Yeah. And it'll bring you right in here that prep time, cook time, and servings. This
Okay.
is really follow through.
You
I'm
know
not.
what I am going to give a shout out to? Literally every time you're on a website and you want to look at a recipe, the amount of ads that it's over the screen. So like right there, that's just selling like, well, okay, there's one. But see,
Yeah.
like it's not as overwhelming. And we
Yes.
were talking.
It looks
And
like
so
it's
it, yeah, I think it breaks it down. I think starting with melting butter is huge. I'm not the best at scrambled eggs, so I should definitely read
Can
this
you
book.
click on the get ingredients, what it does?
I believe it's going to, I'm not entirely sure, if anything, but what does it mean? Okay. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That is probably on Land O'Lakes, but they are telling you all of the Land O'Lake things. So,
Ah, interesting.
yes, they are very sponsored in this one. But indeed, let me move this a little and see what we can work with. You can also look at classic buttercream, which apparently takes a lot less than I thought it would. And that's where you're coming again in with all of the ads because recipes love doing it for you. But I do love the jump to recipe button. And that'll break it down into you for your steps, bring up the different websites, and then looking at video only. Will you have a video for these things? Yes. Beautiful. I have to move
And it
everyone
has
one
the
more.
ingredients listed there.
And it'll just play it, like I said, directly in that app for you. You can make it full screen. You can add those things like playback speed. And it will play directly in there, or you can go to that website and read the recipe as well.
So what I'm hearing, Maddie, is it's one of those things where we need to learn how to navigate it before we teach someone else how to use it. And since
I
we are a center for independent living, we have IL skills. And, I think this app would be really a cool way um, to share a process if someone's wanting to learn how to cook. I mean, I think,
Yes.
but it's going to be more our legwork of writing down step 1, step 2, step 3, step
Yes.
4.
Yep.
But that is how we teach people step 1, step 2,
Absolutely.
yeah. So Claire, what do you think about this?
I think that this takes a lot of the anxiety out of trying to figure out what you can do with what you have.
Mhm.
Um, I wish other things in life had this ability to kind of be like, hey, you can do this, that, and the other. So I think it, we've talked a lot about executive dysfunction and whatnot. I think that this is more of a beeline rather than you start looking at what you have. You have an anxiety attack. You walk away because you're frustrated. This just makes it super easy.
Absolutely. I think cooking in general has always been a source of that anxiety, has been a source of that, what should I make? How can I do this? And those steps, looking at the ingredients is one thing, but then starting to Google things or like opening TikTok and finding like what to make with chicken breast and then scrolling through 17 videos. There's so many steps. And this can really narrow down that field of vision and make it so that there's not all of those extra steps. It's not, I need to open the fridge, find these things, open the cabinet, find these things, chop everything. It really brings it into that step by step for you, which is very helpful. There's a lot of steps to life.
Uh, This is
Uh,
Star again, and I guess I wanted to also think about so there is another app that you could pair with this. I think it would be really nice. I'm not I feel like it's Forgot Milk or Don't Forget Milk. But they have like a list where you're just taking a barcode. So like everything you typically buy, you can scan it with a barcode, and then it's like adding this list of everything that's in you. So then you could, right, we would help them, we would help that individual learning to cook, pair them together, but then you could play around with, oh, I'm not sure what spices I have. And so
Exactly.
yeah. You see what I'm saying? Those two apps could work together with knowing like this is
So
my
many things
study
to look
and
up now. I love this. I'm
right.
learning so much today. I come to teach, I learn. This is fabulous.
Well,
Okay.
Maddie, I think you and Star should stay connected,
Yeah.
especially since you're, addressing the app and since you work with teens that are tech savvy. Um, I know
Yeah.
you're going to be sharing it tomorrow night. Do you want to share briefly about what you do with Empower Youth and how you're going to be showing this to them tomorrow?
Yes. So, like I said, Empower Youth is the youth group that I run through the Center for Disability Empowerment. We meet once a month, participants age 14 to 24, and we work on independent living skills, self-advocacy, um, fun events, ways to socialize, way to meet other people, which is, sometimes very hard for kids. And we meet at different library locations. So we kind of hop around Columbus, try to hit all the different areas. We've gone all the way up to Delaware. We're widespread. Um, we are going to be talking about SuperCook tomorrow night, specifically towards meal planning. A mass majority of our participants at this point are college age students. And I did not graduate college that long ago. It was only a couple of years. And I remember being in my dorm, um, deciding what I was gonna eat. And something like this would have been huge. I had no idea something like this existed. Even just finding out that we can search by microwave oven, that was all we were allowed to have. So I think that could have been very helpful. So we're gonna dig in. I'm gonna give them this brief overview of adding things with a mock list of groceries, narrowing down those different things. And then we're going to create mock meal plans if they were cooking 5 days. So if they were making lunch for themselves 5 days a week, what would they make based on this mock list? Um, and there will also be the option as we're working through this, if students are interested, looking at that grocery planning idea of it. You have these things, but you're deciding to go grocery shopping for the week and making that grocery list based off of the pantry. So we're going to really dig into the ways that they can use this, like I said, in college. Some of our high school students, especially, we like to give them a little challenge every month, just ways that they can take it out into the community, take it home with them. And so it'll really be look at what you have at home and see if you can either help with or make a meal and really diving into it head first with that transition piece.
Mhm.
This is Star, and I'm going to throw another idea your way. You could take the weekly ad that's on most Bueller's or, Hawkins or wherever your guys' Giant Eagle is Columbus,
Yes.
and you could pull those special ads for the week and then make it out of this recipe.
Ooh, yes. That could be incredibly helpful. I love the manipulatives that we are able to use in those worksheets and different tools, to show our students really how you can use different things. Not a lot of people grab those ads anymore. A lot of people will have it like
Well, it's digital.
go through.
It's
Yeah.
digital.
We were talking about the app today. It can be confusing. So those
Yeah.
paper ads especially, huge P.
Mhm. Yeah. But also keeping in mind the accessibility for any students that use like a screen reader,
Right.
that, most of those, so when, Miller Hawkins or Bueller's or Acme's or Giant Eagles or Myers, when they put those newsletters for their weekly ads, they're probably all going to be JPEGs. So they're not accessible at all to screen readers.
That
So
is
nobody
true.
sees it. So you just got to think about that when you're thinking
Yeah.
of ideas.
They they really do just use JPEGs sometimes. The accessibility problems we run into all the time.
Mhm. Yep. It's getting better.
It is,
It
it's
is getting
getting better
better.
slowly.
Mhm.